This week, I had another patient who was experiencing vertigo, specifically BPPV. If you don't know what that is, I want you to click on this video here. So this guy, every time that he tilts his head back, like to wash his hair in the shower, he feels like he starts spinning. Now, for this guy, he has experienced this before a number of years back when he lived in Kansas. When he lived in Kansas, he went to go see a physical therapist who did a maneuver on him, also known as an Epley maneuver, and ever since he has been fine. So now that he lives here in Colorado, he's been working with a local chiro, and when he started to experience this vertigo again, he asked that chiro, "What do you think I should do?" And that chiro made the recommendation to come and see me. So the patient comes and sees me. I proceed to place him in some provocative positions. One in particular is called the Dix-Hallpike test, in which the patient's head is turned towards the affected ear and lowered into a head hanging position. So I have him seated on my treatment table and I lower him back until his head is hanging off the table. And guess what we saw? Well, for one, he experienced vertigo in that position, but also his eyes started beating really fast. And we'll have to do a whole nother video on how we actually know which canal is involved based upon the direction in which the eyes are beating. But for the sake of this video, just know that his eyes started jerking about. So now that I have a positive test, we immediately went into the therapeutic maneuver that would resolve it. I then stood him up and asked him if he could provoke that vertigo sensation again by placing his head in various positions like he would in his daily life. So he starts moving his head all around and nothing is happening. So I think it would be fair to say that we probably got it. Now here's why I wanted to make this video. He then asked me, do I need to be real careful for a couple of days or sleep in an upright position so that these crystals don't become dislodged once again? Because his other provider basically scared him into thinking that these crystals are always just one abrupt movement of your head away from spilling back into one of these canals and leading to another vertigo episode. So let's see what the literature says about this. In this article, they state that after treatment, it is recommended that patients return to their normal lifestyle, although they may experience prolonged residual imbalance, and that free movement of the head should be advocated despite head motion intolerance, as in you get dizzy when you move your head. So way back, it used to be standard practice to recommend that the patient sleep on the unaffected side or even in the upright position after having one of these therapeutic maneuvers performed. However, this article was written in 2019, and they state that while some authors have concluded that there's a lack of evidence to support any benefits and advise against their use, a Cochrane review concluded that there is a small additional benefit from postural restrictions. So, what should you do? Well, what I tell my patients is that there is some literature stating that you should be cautious with how you move your head or place your head, and some that say it doesn't really matter after you've had this maneuver performed. In the case of this gentleman, I made the recommendation to not obsess over it because of the fact that we were able to alleviate his symptoms in one single visit. So now, if it were to come back because of, for example, he slept on that side, we could just do the maneuver again and then maybe actually make some adjustments to his sleeping positions that second time around. This gentleman was very particular about his sleep, and so I didn't think it was worth sacrificing a good night's rest for something that likely won't happen anyway. But in the end, the decision is yours as the patient. All I can do, and the purpose of these videos is to try and inform you so that you can make an appropriate decision for you and your unique situation. And another thing that I'd like to emphasize is they state in that article that patients should be made aware that BPPV can reoccur, and they should not restrict their daily activities. One study reported a recurrence rate of 16% at 6 months, and another reported 37% at 5 years. So you may have it occur one day again in the future. That doesn't necessarily mean that you did anything wrong. It's just something that as we age, we now become more prone to. And if you've already had it happen once, your chances of it happening again become greater. But luckily for you, you now know what to do when it occurs again.